English with EduWorld.
Learn English. Connect with world.
Hey everyone, welcome back to English with EduWorld. I'm Anna, and I'm really happy you're here with us today because we're talking about something that can completely change the way you sound when you speak English. We're diving into the real secret behind natural pronunciation.
And I'm Kenny. If your goal is to sound clear, smooth, and confident when you speak English, not perfect, just natural, then you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and stay with us because today we're giving you something you can use immediately in real life.
Imagine a scenario that haunts every language learner's nightmares. You are standing face to face with a native speaker. The energy is high, the opportunity is perfect. You smile and ask, "How are you?" They reply, "Good, thanks." And then, without warning, the world stops. A terrible, heavy silence crashes down between you like a concrete wall. You stare at your shoes. You feel the heat rising in your cheeks. You desperately search your brain for something, anything to say, but your mind is a completely empty room. The ticking of the clock feels deafening, and your heart hammers against your ribs. In that agonizing moment, you don't just feel shy, you feel invisible. You feel like an outsider looking through a window at a party you cannot enter.
But what if I told you that you are holding a secret weapon in your pocket right now that can shatter that silence instantly? What if one simple topic could turn a stranger into a best friend in under 60 seconds?
Welcome back to English with EduWorld. Today, we are not just teaching vocabulary, we are handing you the cure for awkwardness. We are going to unlock the art of deep connection through the things you love, moving far beyond the boring textbook phrases you learned in school. If you are ready to stop hiding in the shadows and start connecting with the world, please hit that subscribe button right now to support our channel and keep these lessons coming.
Before we reveal this secret weapon, I need you to be honest about your battlefield. What is the true root of your fear when speaking? Is it A, the fear of making a grammar mistake and looking foolish? Or is it B, the fear of running out of things to say and facing the awkward silence? Be brave and type A or B in the comments below.
Now that you have identified your fear, we must confront the uncomfortable truth about why that fear exists. Because it is usually not a lack of vocabulary that silences you, but a fundamental misunderstanding of how human connection actually works. You see, the biggest tragedy in language learning is that most students are trained to treat a casual conversation like a police interrogation or a job interview. In school, you were likely taught to memorize lists of nouns and verbs, and when someone asks about your life, you recite these lists like a robot. You say, "My hobby is swimming," and then you stop. You wait for the next question. You treat the interaction as an exchange of data, where accuracy is the only goal.
But here's the harsh reality. If you speak like a textbook, you kill the connection. When you give a short, factual answer like, "I like cooking," you are handing the other person a dead end. You are building a wall instead of opening a door. You're essentially telling them, "I have given you the information, now leave me alone." And that is why the silence comes back. It is not because you made a grammar mistake. It's because you gave them nothing to hold on to.
Exactly. Think about how native speakers actually talk to each other. We don't just exchange facts, we trade stories. We don't just say what we do, we explain how it makes us feel. We don't say, "I like hiking." We say, "I needed to escape the noise of the city, so I climbed a mountain, and my legs were burning, but the view at the top made me feel alive again." Do you hear the difference? One is a sentence, the other is an invitation.
Real English is messy, emotional, and descriptive. It involves admitting when you are bad at something. It involves laughing at your own failures. It involves using words that paint a picture of your soul, not just your schedule. But the problem is, nobody teaches you this. Textbooks teach you the vocabulary of the activity, like camera or lens, but they rarely teach you the vocabulary of the experience, like capturing a moment, or frustration, or passion.
That disconnect creates a painful personality gap. I have met so many brilliant, funny, interesting students who become boring, flat versions of themselves the moment they switch to English. It breaks my heart because I know that deep down they have so much to share, but they are trapped behind a barrier of safe and correct phrases.
They are so afraid of making a mistake that they forget to be human. But today, we are going to tear that barrier down. We are going to conduct a masterclass on the art of small talk. We aren't just going to give you words, we are going to give you the tools to express your personality. We will listen to a long, deep, natural conversation between Jack and me, a conversation full of mistakes, slang, and real emotions. We will break it down piece by piece, analyzing not just the grammar, but the social strategy behind every sentence. We will teach you the exact phrases to turn a stranger into a friend.
By the end of this video, you will understand that the goal of English is not perfection, it is resonance. We want you to walk away with the ability to make someone's eyes light up when you speak. But before we start sharing our secrets and diving into this masterclass, we need to create a safe environment, right here, right now. We need to break the ice together. I have a question for you, and I want you to be incredibly brave, because vulnerability is the first step to fluency.
We all have that one hobby that we keep hidden. Maybe it's something you think is too weird to explain in English. Maybe you collect strangely shaped rocks. Maybe you write poetry that you never show anyone. Maybe you talk to your houseplants. Maybe you are obsessed with watching videos of people cleaning rugs. Whatever it is, that secret hobby is often the most interesting thing about you. So I am challenging you to type it in the comments right now. What is the one hobby you are usually too shy to talk about?
Do not judge yourself, and do not worry about perfect spelling. Just put it out there. By writing it down, you are taking ownership of your interests. You are telling the world, this is who I am. We are reading the comments at this very moment, and I promise you, this is a safe space where we celebrate passion, no matter how unique it is. So go ahead, type it in, and let's start this journey of connection together.
Now that you have identified your fear, we must confront the uncomfortable truth about why that fear exists. Because it is usually not a lack of vocabulary that silences you, but a fundamental misunderstanding of how human connection actually works. You see, the biggest tragedy in language learning is that most students are trained to treat a casual conversation like a police interrogation. In school, you were likely taught to memorize lists of nouns and verbs, and when someone asks about your life, you recite these lists like a robot. You say, "My hobby is swimming," and then you stop, waiting for the next question. You treat the interaction as an exchange of data, where accuracy is the only goal.
But here is the harsh reality. If you speak like a textbook, you kill the connection. When you give a short factual answer like, "I like cooking," you are handing the other person a dead end. You're building a wall instead of opening a door, essentially telling them, "I have given you the information, now leave me alone." And that is why the silence returns.
Real native speakers do not just exchange facts, we trade stories. We don't just say what we do, we explain how it makes us feel. We don't say, "I like hiking," we say, "I needed to escape the noise of the city, so I climbed the mountain and the view made me feel alive again." Do you hear the difference? One is a sentence, the other is an invitation. Today, we're going to fix this disconnect. We are conducting a masterclass on the art of small talk, analyzing a deep, natural conversation to teach you the social strategy behind the grammar so you can finally turn strangers into friends.
But before we start sharing our secrets, we want to know about yours, because true connection is a two-way street. I have a question for you, and I want you to be incredibly brave. We all have that one hobby that we keep hidden, the one we think is too weird or specific to explain in English. Maybe you collect vintage spoons. Maybe you write poetry you never show anyone. Or maybe you talk to your plants. Whatever it is, that secret passion is often the most human thing about you. So I am challenging you to type it in the comments right now. What is the hobby you are usually too shy to talk about? Don't worry about grammar or spelling, just put it out there. By writing it down, you are taking the first step to owning your identity in a new language. We are reading every single comment, so please be brave and break the silence with us.
You are watching English with EduWorld, your bridge from the rigid rules of textbooks
To the messy, beautiful reality of actual conversation. We're here to help you stop sounding like a student and start speaking like yourself, guiding you toward English that is confident, natural, and truly yours.
With that intention set, let's move from the theory of connection to the practice of it by immersing ourselves in a candid, unscripted dialogue that demonstrates exactly how these principles come to life.
All right, Anna, let's just forget the cameras are here for a moment and actually catch up, because it feels like it has been ages since we really talked. How have you been holding up lately?
Honestly, Kenny, I've been surprisingly well. I feel this strange sense of calm that I haven't felt in years, which is a massive change from the usual chaos. What about you? You look like you are vibrating with energy today.
I am. I really am. My brain is buzzing because I have completely thrown myself into a new project recently, and you know how I get when I find a new obsession. But I want to circle back to what you said. Why the sudden calm? Did you change your job or your routine?
It wasn't a job change, it was a lifestyle shift. You know how I used to be glued to my laptop, stressing about emails until midnight? Well, I realized I was burning out, so I made a conscious decision to prioritize my downtime. I've gotten really big into gardening this year.
Gardening? You? I have to be honest, Emma, I didn't peg you for a gardener. I always pictured you as the ultimate indoor person, surrounded by stacks of books and cups of tea hiding from the sun.
I was that person. I absolutely was. But I think that was part of the problem. I was so disconnected from the physical world. I realized I craved fresh air and dirty hands. So I started really small, just a few pots of basil and mint on my balcony, and then it just spiraled. Now I am completely obsessed. I spend hours out there every weekend. It is incredibly therapeutic for me.
Therapeutic is such a powerful word to use. What is it specifically about digging in the dirt that fixes the stress for you?
It's the patience of it, I think. In our jobs, we want instant results. We send an email, we want a reply in 5 minutes. But with a garden, you can't force it. You plant a tiny seed, and you have to surrender control. You just nurture it and wait. It forces my brain to slow down to the speed of nature. Plus, there is something so deeply rewarding about making a salad for lunch with lettuce and tomatoes that you grew yourself. It tastes like victory.
Tastes like victory. I love that image. I tried gardening once, years ago, and let me tell you, it was a disaster. I think I have a black thumb instead of a green thumb. Everything I touched turned brown and died within a week. It was humiliating.
Oh no! What did you try to grow?
I tried to grow orchids because I thought they looked sophisticated.
Orchids? Kenny, that is the hardest flower to grow. You started on expert mode without doing the tutorial. No wonder you quit. You have to start with something unkillable, like a cactus or mint.
Lesson learned. Maybe I'll try again one day when I have more patience. But for now, I think I will stick to my camera. You know, photography has always been my main anchor.
Yes, you're always carrying that heavy camera bag. I remember you used to take a lot of photos of architecture and buildings. Are you still doing that?
I am, but my focus has shifted quite a bit recently. I used to love buildings because they don't move. They're easy subjects. But lately, I'm trying to challenge myself. I'm really into candid portraits now.
Candid portraits? You mean taking photos of strangers when they don't know you're looking?
Exactly. I know it sounds a little creepy when you say it like that, but I promise it's artistic. I love capturing people in those genuine, unguarded moments. A couple laughing at a joke on a park bench, an old man feeding birds, someone looking exhausted on the subway. I feel like those moments tell a human story that a posed photo never can. It's technically challenging, though, because you have to be invisible.
That sounds fascinating, but honestly, it sounds terrifying to me. Do you ever get nervous pointing your lens at a stranger?
All the time. Every single time I lift the camera, my heart pounds. I'm afraid they'll get angry or shout at me.
But that adrenaline is actually part of the fun. It pushes me out of my comfort zone and forces me to be brave.
I admire that bravery. I think I need quieter hobbies. I tried to take up the guitar last year. Do you remember? I bought that beautiful, expensive acoustic guitar.
Oh yeah, I remember you were so excited about it. You sent me a picture of it. How is that going? Are you ready to join a rock band yet?
Absolutely not. In fact, I have a confession. I sold it last month.
You sold it. Why? You were so passionate about it in the beginning.
I was in love with the idea of playing guitar. I wanted to be the cool girl at the campfire. But I hated the actual process. My fingers hurt constantly, the chord changes were so difficult, and honestly, I realized I have zero sense of rhythm. Every time I picked it up, it felt like a chore, not a joy. It felt like work, and I have a new rule. If a hobby feels like a second job, I quit.
That is actually a very healthy rule. There is no shame in quitting, Anna.
We hold on to things because of guilt, but if it doesn't serve you, let it go. I did the exact same thing with coding a few years ago. I thought I should learn Python, and it was just too tedious.
Tedious. That is the perfect word. It just drains you. But speaking of quitting things, Kenny, do you still play video games? I remember in university you used to play for like 6 hours a day. You were glued to that screen.
Oh man, don't remind me. I was addicted. But no, I rarely play now. Maybe once a month if I'm totally exhausted.
Really? That's a huge change for you. What happened?
I think I just grew out of it. And also, sitting in a chair for hours started to hurt my back. I'm getting old. But mostly, I realized I wanted to use my free time to produce things, not just consume things. Photography lets me create an image. Building models lets me create an object. Video games just felt like passing time without anything to show for it.
That makes so much sense. Our hobbies evolve as we change as people. Speaking of evolving, I actually picked up a new, slightly weird hobby recently. You promise not to laugh at me?
I promise. Tell me.
I started collecting vintage maps, like really old maps from the 1800s.
Anna, that is not weird at all. That is so cool. Where do you even find those?
Mostly at flea markets and online auctions. I just love seeing how the world used to look. Borders change, countries disappear, city names change. It's like holding a piece of history in your hands. I have this one map of London from 1850, and you can see streets that don't exist anymore. It gives me goosebumps.
I could look at that for hours. See, that's so much more interesting than video games. It's an expensive hobby, though. My wallet is not happy about it. Your gardening is much cheaper.
Unless you start buying exotic orchids. But yes, a packet of seeds costs $1. It is very budget-friendly.
So, looking at us now, we have a gardener and a map-collecting photographer.
We are turning into very interesting people, Anna.
And we are definitely never bored. Okay, let's pause the conversation right there. Cut. That was a long exchange, and for our viewers watching, if you understood the flow of that, congratulations. But if you missed some parts, don't worry, because we used a lot of advanced expressions naturally, and now we are going to break them down piece by piece so you can use them too. Let's start with how we talked about liking things. Did you notice, Kenny, that we rarely used the phrase, I like? I like is functional, but it is boring. It's vanilla. We used stronger, colorful phrases to paint a picture of our passion. For example, I said, I've gotten really big into gardening. To get big into something is a very native way of saying you have become very interested in it recently. It implies a growing passion, a journey from zero to hero.
And I used a specific idiom when I was surprised by Anna. I said, I didn't peg you for a gardener. This is fantastic for social situations. To peg someone for something means to assume or guess what kind of person they are based on their appearance or personality. I was saying, I didn't guess that you are the type of person who likes gardening. You can use this with friends. I didn't peg you for a football fan.
Then you used a phrase I absolutely love. You said, I threw myself into a new project. To throw yourself into something means to do it with 100% energy and commitment. You don't just dip your toe in the water, you dive in completely. It shows enthusiasm. We also talked deeply about the why. We didn't just list the hobbies. We explained the emotional benefits. Kenny, you used the word therapeutic.
Yes, therapeutic. It comes from the word therapy. If a hobby is therapeutic, it means it heals you. It fixes your stress and makes your mind calm. Gardening, painting, walking, and even cooking can be therapeutic. It's a much deeper word than just relaxing. Relaxing is sitting on a sofa. Therapeutic is healing your soul.
And I used the word rewarding. This means the activity gives you a deep sense of satisfaction. It might be hard work, like hiking up a mountain, but the feeling at the end is worth it. It pays you back in happiness. Now let's talk about the negative side, because real conversations aren't always positive. We talked about quitting. I described learning the guitar as tedious.
Tedious is a word you need in your vocabulary. It means boring, slow, and repetitive. It's the opposite of exciting. My homework is tedious. Filling out tax forms is tedious. Cleaning the bathroom is tedious. If you tell someone a hobby is tedious, they understand immediately why you quit.
And I used the phrase, I grew out of it. When you grow out of a hobby, it means you became too old or mature for it. You didn't hate it, you just changed as a person. It's a gentle way to say you stopped doing something without being negative. I grew out of watching cartoons, or I grew out of skateboarding.
There was also a specific grammar point I want to highlight that is crucial for storytelling. Notice how we switch between the past and the present to show contrast.
Yes, when Kenny asked about my weekend, he used the simple past. What did you do? But when he talked about his old habits, he used used to. He said, I used to play video games and I used to just walk around.
Used to is the storyteller's best friend. It tells a story of transformation. I used to be lazy, but now I go to the gym. I used to hate spicy food, but now I love it. It creates a rich context for who you are today by showing who you were yesterday.
Finally, let's look at the phrase, I'm really into candid portraits. To be into something is the most common native way to say you like it. I'm into jazz. I'm into spicy food. Are you into sports? It is casual, natural, and perfect for small talk.
Now, beyond the vocabulary, there's a cultural aspect to this conversation that is very important to understand if you want to connect with English speakers, especially Americans. Did you notice, Anna, how much we focused on projects?
Yes, in American culture and many Western cultures, there's a concept of productive leisure. People love to be busy with a purpose. We don't just like to sit and exist. We like to build something, grow something, or improve something. A hobby is often seen as a side hustle or a pastime that develops a skill.
That's why Anna talked about gardening teaching her patience, and I talked about photography pushing me out of my comfort zone. When you describe your hobby to a foreigner, try to mention what it teaches you or how it improves you. It makes you sound very deep and interesting. We value growth.
Also, notice how we ended the topic of the boring hobby politely. When I admitted I failed at guitar and that it was tedious, Kenny didn't judge me. He didn't say, "Oh, you are lazy." He validated me. He said, "That is a healthy rule."
Validation is the key to small talk. If someone admits they failed at a hobby, your job is to make them feel okay about it. Say, I totally understand. I did the same thing with... It builds an instant bond because you're sharing vulnerability.
Okay, Kenny, you have listened enough. Now it is time to put this masterclass into action. We are going to do some speaking drills because you cannot learn to speak just by listening. You need to move your mouth. We will use the shadowing technique. Kenny is going to say a phrase with strong emotion. I want you to repeat it exactly as she says it. Do not sound like a robot reading a book. Copy her melody, her pause, and her feelings. Phrase 1. Listen to the passion. I've gotten really big into gardening.
I've gotten really big into gardening.
Listen to the relief in my voice. It's incredibly therapeutic.
It's incredibly therapeutic.
Listen to the contrast. I used to play, but I grew out of it.
I used to play, but I grew out of it.
Listen to the enthusiasm. I threw myself into a new project.
I threw myself into a new project.
Excellent work. Now let's do role play. This is the final test. I am going to ask you a question directly. I will look at the camera and I will give you 5 seconds of silence. I want you to answer me out loud using the phrase, "I'm really into." Are you ready? So tell me, what are you doing for fun these days?
I'm really into cooking lately. I try a new recipe every weekend. Let's try one more. I will ask about your past.
Did you have any hobbies when you were a kid?
I used to collect stamps, but I grew out of it.
Great job! By practicing these answers, you are preparing your brain for the real world, so when someone actually asks you, the answer is already waiting on your tongue. We have covered a tremendous amount of ground today, from the mechanics of grammar to the rhythm of shadowing, but I want to take a moment to pause and talk about why this actually matters deeply.
Because, Anna, the alternative to mastering this skill is painful, and it is a pain that too many of our viewers know intimately. I know what it feels like to be the quiet foreigner in the room. You stand in a group of people at a party or a break room, and the air is filled with laughter and stories. You desperately want to join in to show them that you are funny and smart, but you feel trapped behind a glass wall. You wait for a gap in the conversation, and when you finally speak, you only have those dry textbook phrases. You say, "I like cinema," and the conversation just stops. The energy dies, and you feel the heavy weight of being an outsider.
It is a profoundly lonely feeling, Kenny. You feel invisible, like a ghost haunting your own life. You feel like your true, vibrant personality is trapped inside a box because you don't have the key to open it. It is heartbreaking to watch other people making friends effortlessly, getting promotions, or going on dates simply because they know how to chat about the small things, while you remain silent, terrified of being judged.
But I want you to close your eyes for a second and imagine the other side of that wall. Imagine you are sitting in a coffee shop in New York or London. You have your camera on the table, or maybe that vintage map we talked about. A stranger notices it and asks, "Oh, are you into photography?" And in that moment, instead of freezing in panic, you smile. You lean forward. You say, "Yes, I'm really big into candid portraits. It's my passion because I love capturing genuine emotion."
And suddenly, you see their eyes light up. They pull up a chair, they ask you more. You laugh together about how expensive lenses are, or you share a story about a flea market find. In that magic moment, the labels disappear. You aren't a student and a teacher. You aren't a foreigner and a local. You are just two human beings connecting over a shared joy.
That connection is exactly what English is for. It is not about passing a test or having perfect grammar. It's about sharing who you are with the world. Your hobbies are the window into your soul, and when you share your passion, you become magnetic. When you speak with joy, nobody cares about your accent. They only care about your energy. That is the freedom we want for you.
If you are ready to claim that freedom and become the person who connects rather than hides, you need to surround yourself with the right environment. Here at English with EduWorld, we are building a global family that values connection over perfection. We don't care if you make mistakes. We only care that you try. If you want to belong to this family and keep feeding your confidence every single week, please hit that subscribe button right now. Do it as a promise to your future self. And please, think of just one person in your life, one friend who is shy, one colleague who is afraid to speak. Share this video with them today. Tell them this is for you, and be the hand that pulls them up the ladder with us, so we can all find our voices together.
Sharing is powerful, but true learning happens when you take action. So before you leave, we have one final mission for you, which we call the Past, Present, Future Challenge. We want you to go to the comments section right now and write 3 simple sentences that tell the story of your life.
proving that you have mastered the timeline of connection. First, use the grammar of the past to tell us a hobby you used to do but stopped, showing us how you have evolved. Second, use the phrase we learned today to tell us what you are really into right now in the present moment. And finally, tell us a hobby you want to take up in the future to show us your dreams.
It should look exactly like this. I used to play soccer. I am really into photography now, and I want to take up salsa dancing next year. We will be down there reading your comments to correct your grammar and celebrate your story, so do not be shy. Thank you for hanging out with us today. It was truly therapeutic. Keep practicing, keep sharing your passions, and remember that your story is worth telling. See you in the next conversation. Bye, everyone.